Loading content. Elon Musk, a name synonymous with innovation and audacious ambition, has made headlines for his groundbreaking work in technology and space exploration. Yet behind the public persona lies a complex tapestry of personal relationships that often elude the spotlight. Among these relationships is his tumultuous connection with his ex-wife Tallulah Riley, an actress and writer whose partnership with Musk has been a roller coaster of passion, reconciliation, and heartache. Their story begins not just in romance but in mutual inspiration. Musk and Riley first crossed paths in 2008, when they were introduced by a mutual friend. Their initial attraction was palpable. Both shared a fascination with creativity and entrepreneurship. At the time, Musk was already carving out a legacy with Tesla and SpaceX, while Riley was establishing her own reputation in the film industry. This shared drive brought them closer together, igniting a relationship that seemed destined for greatness. However, as is often the case with high-profile romances, their journey was anything but smooth. They marry in 2010 but divorced just 2 years later, a split that sent ripples through both their lives. Despite the initial heartbreak, their connection endured beyond traditional boundaries. They remarried in 2013, only to separate again in each reunion and parting seemed to deepen their bond, complicating the narrative of love and loss that defined their relationship. At its core, the dynamics between Musk and Riley reflect a tension between ambition and intimacy. Both are fiercely independent spirits driven by their respective passions. While Musk pursued ventures that would change the course of humanity, from electric cars to interplanetary travel, Riley ventured into her own creative pursuits, balancing acting roles with her writing career. This dual ambition fueled both admiration and frustration within their relationship. Moreover, their emotional undertones reveal layers of vulnerability intertwined with strength. For Musk, often seen as an enigmatic figure, overly focused on work, there lies an undercurrent of loneliness that accompanies his success. The pressure of his high-stakes career can create barriers to emotional connectivity, leaving him struggling to maintain personal relationships amidst professional demands. Riley's perspective on this may add another layer. As someone who experienced the highs and lows of being intertwined with one of the world's most influential figures, she carried her own burdens, the expectations from society combined with her desire for authenticity. Throughout their shared history, moments of connection have appeared amidst turmoil, points where vulnerability broke through public facades. There were instances when they supported each other during personal crises or celebrated milestones together. These glimpses showed that beneath the surface of conflict lay affection that neither could entirely extinguish. The emotional complexity only heightened when outside factors began influencing their bond. Media scrutiny intensified every aspect of their lives as they became subjects of relentless speculation regarding their relationship status and motivations for reconciling or separating again. Such scrutiny likely added strain but also provided context for understanding how external pressures can shape personal dynamics. As we delve deeper into this narrative, particularly as it unfolds into the dramatic events surrounding a late-night phone call, we must consider how past experiences inform present actions within such intricate relationships. This lens offers insight into what drives people to reach out during moments of crisis or vulnerability. One cannot underestimate how pivotal moments arise from prior interactions. Those seemingly trivial conversations or shared experiences accumulate over time to create profound impacts on one's sense of belonging or emotional safety within a relationship. Thus, when Tallulah found herself crying at 2 a.m. one fateful night, her distress compelling enough to reach out to Elon, it was not merely an isolated incident. Rather, it echoed years filled with unexpressed feelings burdened by pride or misunderstandings stemming from both sides. Revisiting key memories might help paint a fuller picture leading up to this moment. Perhaps she recalled times when they had consoled each other after setbacks or offered encouragement before significant endeavors. A testament that despite separations marked by disagreements or distance, there existed genuine care beneath it all. In contemplating what led Tallulah to dial Elon's number late at night, a decision fraught with emotion, we start to unravel deeper threads woven throughout their relationship journey. Love intertwined with pain, ambition shadowed by isolation, support shadowed by inadequacies, all culminating into one heartfelt plea resonating through silence at such an unlikely hour. Understanding these dynamics enriches our perception as we prepare for what happens next. a conversation infused with raw emotion poised to redefine connections once more, amidst uncertainty beckoning from both ends of the line. The clock struck 2 a.m., casting a silent spell over the world outside. The usually buzzing Los Angeles streets lay still, with only the faint sound of distant cars breaking the heavy blanket of night. Inside his sprawling home, Elon Musk was wrapped in the kind of solitude that often accompanies high achievers immersed in his thoughts, yet restless, with unfinished work scattered around him like a constellation of ambition. It was during such moments that the weight of his success felt heaviest. The quiet hours often led to reflections on relationships and unfulfilled connections. Meanwhile, across town, Tallulah Riley was feeling an overwhelming wave of emotion. The house she occupied felt too large, too empty, echoing with memories and shadows of a life once shared with Musk. Tonight was different. She found herself unable to escape the burdens of past grievances and unresolved feelings. No longer able to bear the silence and her own thoughts, she reached for her phone, trembling hands hovering above the screen as uncertainty waged war within her mind. In that late-night hour, courage battled vulnerability, leading her to dial Elon's number. As the phone rang, a mix of anxiety and anticipation filled Tallulah's chest. Each ring resonated like a heartbeat, a reminder that despite their tumultuous history, there lay an undeniable connection between them. She recalled moments when they had leaned on each other during difficult times, when laughter had melted away tension and love had conquered distance. But those memories were now clouded by pain from their separations, resentments that had built walls between their hearts. Elon answered the call almost immediately, as if he had been waiting for it. His voice came through the line, slightly raspy from sleep, but tinged with concern. "Tallulah," he asked softly, sensing her distress even before she spoke. The urgency in her tone shattered any semblance of peace he had hoped to cling to at that hour. "I am sorry for calling so late," Tallulah stammered, tears forming as panic surged through her. There was a rawness in her vulnerability that caught Elon off guard. It reminded him just how fragile their connection could be despite their shared history and reconciliations. "What's wrong?" he asked gently, concern lacing his words as he sat up in bed, fully alert now, the weight of her emotional turmoil piercing through the sleepy haze of his mind. The atmosphere shifted instantly. What began as a mundane night transformed into an urgent moment filled with potential revelation. Tallulah inhaled deeply, searching for composure while struggling against the tide of emotions threatening to overwhelm her. I just need to talk," she managed to say between sobs. The vulnerability pulsating through her voice resonated with Elon, a reminder that underneath their complicated past lay genuine care and affection. In that charged moment, time seemed suspended. The world outside faded into insignificance as they navigated this intimate conversation, the vulnerability enveloping them like a soft blanket amidst an unforgiving reality. For Elon, it wasn't just another late-night call. It marked an intersection where professional achievements met personal struggles, a reminder that emotional landscapes can be just as demanding as launching rockets into space. As Tallulah began expressing her feelings, her fears about life without him, regrets about their choices, Elon listened intently. He could hear every quiver in her voice and feel each tear she silently shed even from miles away. This was no longer just about healing wounds. This was about peeling back layers they had each hidden beneath shields forged from pride or independence. With each confession exchanged over the line came an acknowledgement of their shared pain, a recognition that would dissolve barriers long built between them. The night air grew thick with unspoken sentiments, an electric charge igniting within both individuals as they faced their shared vulnerabilities head-on. The urgency they felt echoed loudly against the stillness of the night. It felt significant, like two lost souls reaching out across an ocean after years adrift in separate vessels. Whatever had brought Tallulah to this moment transcended distance. It spoke to a heartache neither could fully articulate until now. Thus unfolded a conversation charged with urgency, a blend of hope mingled with fear, each word carrying weight far beyond its surface meaning. As they navigated this emotional territory together under cover of darkness, it became clear something profound was stirring between them once again, a chance at understanding amid lingering doubts and unhealed scars. And in this intimate exchange, illuminated by vulnerability and longing, lay seeds for change, for moments spent wrestling with their intertwined destinies could lead somewhere unexpected, but only if they dared confront what lay bare before them in those quiet hours deep into the night. As Tallulah Riley paced the floor in her dimly lit living room, her mind raced, each step echoing the tumult within her heart. The quiet of the night swirled with thoughts of regret and nostalgia, memories weaving through her consciousness like a delicate but painful tapestry. She couldn't shake the feeling that something significant had shifted in her life recently, propelling her to make that late-night phone call to Elon Musk. In the weeks leading up to this moment, Tallulah had faced a series of personal challenges that weighed heavily on her spirit. After spending years carving out her identity separate from Musk's shadow, she had ventured into new creative endeavors, projects meant to reflect her growth as an actress and writer. Yet, despite her passion for these pursuits, she felt unmoored. Each success was bittersweet without someone to share it with. Clips of success played over in her mind, yet they were accompanied by echoes of loneliness that clung tightly to her heart. Compounding her confusion was the recent end of another relationship. Tallulah had attempted to forge a meaningful bond with someone else, believing she could move on from the past. But as the days turned into weeks, it became clear that she wasn't ready to let go entirely. The relationship had started with promise, but dissolved into frustration, as she found herself comparing gestures and words to those shared with Elon. It was in the quiet moments between conversations with this new partner that the realization hit hardest. The lingering feelings for Elon had resurfaced like tides that could not be pushed back. Moreover, there were external pressures brewing alongside her internal conflict. The media buzzed with speculation about Elon's latest ventures, his romantic life, and every move he made, a constant reminder of their intertwined fates that weighed down on her like a dark cloud. Each headline seemed designed to both elevate his achievements and compound her sense of isolation, heightening insecurities that urged her to reach out for some semblance of understanding. On top of all this emotional turmoil came a revisitation of past losses, occasions when Tallulah felt unrecognized or dismissed during crucial moments in their relationship. She thought about memories painted with laughter, but also those shaded by grief and miscommunication. The late nights spent arguing over ambitions or the moments he seemed too wrapped up in his work haunted her, those instances where he might have chosen a different path if only he'd recognized how deeply she cared, or how much she had sacrificed to support him. The combined weight of nostalgia, regret, and current pressures burst forth in that restless night filled with uncertainty. As she considered calling Elon, surfacing feelings she'd long tried to compartmentalize transformed into an insatiable need for connection, driven by fears of missing opportunities for closure or understanding. It was as if all those years together had constructed a bridge that lay dormant until this moment, waiting patiently for them to traverse its span once more. Tallulah thought about what Elon must be facing in his own world, the relentless pursuit of progress mixed with periods of despair that came from dreaming beyond earthly limitations while negotiating personal relationships often misunderstood by outsiders. After all those years spent gazing at one another across chaotic lives, they had built an intricate web of experiences threaded together by highs and lows alike, even if their paths diverged along the way. It was this realization, both were on parallel journeys even after separation, that urged her hand toward the phone that night. This was not merely an attempt at rekindling old flames. It was about confronting their shared history bravely, to seek compassion where there once was confusion, to render support amid chaos. The urgency didn't stem only from personal distress, but from a deep-seated need for connection in a world often isolating in its ambition. Each ring echoed vulnerability as Tallulah held her breath, hoping this would be a turning point, an opportunity not just for explanation, but for reconciliation, a chance to voice the fears and affection she had held tightly within herself for so long. As soon as Elon picked up, it affirmed what she had known deep down, but struggled against. They were still connected like threading stitches woven through fabric, a bond marked by its complexity, but also propelled by authentic longing for one another's presence. In this delicate dance unfolding with every spoken word lay not just relationships tested through trials, but emblematic exchanges filled with raw emotion, paving pathways toward healing, and however daunting it may seem, both understood somewhere deep inside that this recognition stood vital as they dared explore the depths of one another's hearts, yet again beneath layers thickened by time and circumstance. When the sound of Tallulah's voice pierced through the stillness of the night, Elon Musk found himself abruptly awakened, his mind racing to catch up with reality. Here he was at 2 a.m., expecting nothing more than typical solitude, yet suddenly confronted by a panicked, sobbing ex-wife on the other end of the line. He sat up in bed, pushing his tousled hair back from his forehead and blinking against the dim light spilling in from his bedside lamp. Elon's initial instinct was to assess the situation clinically, to employ the analytical mindset that served him well in boardrooms and during rocket launches. However, as he listened to Tallulah's distressed words filling the space with raw vulnerability and emotions, he felt himself slipping away from that familiar persona. His heart pounded not just out of concern but also due to an unexpected swell of nostalgia and memories that had been buried beneath layers of ambition and accomplishments. "Tallulah," he whispered into the phone, his voice barely above a murmur. The intimacy of her distress struck like a jolt. This was not merely a call for help, but a reminder of their deeply entwined past. In those early moments, Elon battled with conflicting instincts. Part of him longed to comfort and validate her feelings, while another part felt the pressure to maintain his emotional distance, a safeguard honed over years of public scrutiny and personal losses. As she opened up, revealing her struggles with loneliness and pain, Elon's mind drifted briefly to their shared history. The laughter echoed in quiet corners of his memory alongside reminders of past arguments fueled by pride and ambition. He recalled their good times, times when they had leaned on each other for support amidst chaotic lives, filled with fame and ambition. Yet he also recognized how those good times had become intertwined with heartache, each moment colored by miscommunication or feelings left unspoken. Throughout the call, Elon grappled with how best to respond. His character had always been shaped by intellectual reasoning and scientific inquiry, yet here was Tallulah, not seeking data or solutions, but emotional connection rooted in shared experiences and unprocessed feeling. The juxtaposition left him feeling vulnerable. He could understand complex algorithms with ease, but navigating human emotions felt like another frontier entirely, a dimension infinitely more challenging than any technological endeavor he had faced. "Why didn't you reach out soon?" he found himself asking gently after she paused to catch her breath. It wasn't just a question, it carried so much weight, a recognition that their relationship had been marked by silence, as they both battled individual demons while remaining linked through memories they could never fully detach from. "I thought I could do this on my own," Tallulah whispered back in a tremor-laden tone. Hearing that honesty stirred something within Elon, perhaps a sense of shared accountability for the way circumstances had conspired against them both. He realized that each had cultivated solitude as a shield against vulnerability when confronting life's challenges should have brought them closer together. As the conversation unfolded, Elon began to soften more into his role as a listener, offering reassurance amidst her fears rather than simply trying to solve what felt like an unsolvable problem in her heart. In these moments weighed down by personal significance, Musk refrained from launching into discussions about business ventures or technological breakthroughs, focusing instead on what mattered most: Tallulah's feelings, her fears about life without him, her doubts about love relationships formed in the aftermath of their part. Beneath the veneer of stoic confidence that characterized him in public life lay an understanding, an acknowledgement that emotional landscapes could be as treacherous as navigating through asteroids or launching rockets into orbit. With every piece of information she shared, the challenges faced in her recent romantic endeavors or struggles against outside expectations, he responded not just as former partners who had incurred wounds, but as two human beings seeking solace amid chaos. The longer they spoke, the more Elon felt the tension loosening between them. As old grievances faded into background noise, new conversations breathed fresh air into their lives. It was imperative for both parties to seize this rare opportunity, a chance to address unexpressed sentiments with compassion instead of apathy. But even as hope flickered between them, a spark sustained by open communication, Elon remained acutely aware of the complexity surrounding any potential reconciliation. Could they really navigate this labyrinth together? Would renewed understanding redefine them yet again? These questions loomed heavily alongside hesitant optimism, even as they strove toward vulnerability together. As time slipped further into early morning hours saturated with discovery rather than despair, it became evident that Musk sensed something transformative happening within him too. Lingering echoes from days gone by, intermingled with moments, sculpted anew, filled not just with hurt, but possibility, each heartbeat sounding like fresh beginnings, waiting patiently at dawn's doorstep. Thus, amidst emotional upheaval woven through familiarity and tenderness, lay foundational steps toward renewed connections that once again reverberated through hearts yearning for reconnection wherever paths therein may lead. Those intertwined journeys, fashioned remarkably anew on the precipice understanding, forged beneath night's vast expanse, transformed gradually into days ripe with promise ahead. As the conversation continued, the initial emotional tension began to evolve into a deeper exploration of their path. Elon and Tallulah found themselves navigating through the complexities of their relationship, each dialogue revealing layers of unresolved feelings and misunderstandings that had festered over time. "Do you ever regret it?" Tallulah asked suddenly, her voice trembling slightly as she probed into the depths of their shared history. The vulnerability in her question hung heavily in the air, a challenge to face the truth about their choices and the paths they had taken. Elon hesitated before responding, knowing full well that this question could either build a bridge or create a wider chasm between them. "Sometimes I do," he admitted, his tone contemplative, "but not for the reasons you might think. I regret how things ended between us, not the love we shared or the moments we created." Tallulah felt a pang in her chest at his words. They resonated with both pain and hope. "I just wish we had communicated better," she replied softly, frustration lacing her voice. "It felt like we were always dancing around our feelings instead of addressing them head-on, like we were afraid to be honest with each other." Fear was definitely a part of it, Elon acknowledged, feeling a wave of nostalgia wash over him as he reflected on their time together. "I was so focused on my work that I didn't realize how much I was pushing you away. And when things got tough, I didn't know how to reach out without seeming weak." Tallulah's heart softened at his honesty. It was a revelation she hadn't anticipated but desperately needed to hear. "I needed you to be vulnerable with me," she said gently. "Instead, it felt like I was left standing alone while you chased after your dreams." Elon winced at her words. They struck a chord deep within him. "I never meant to make you feel abandoned," he replied earnestly. "It was never my intention to prioritize my ambitions over our relationship, but I got caught up in—" He paused before adding, "I thought if I succeeded it would somehow benefit us both." "But at what cost?" Tallulah interjected, her voice rising slightly with emotion. "You became so consumed by your goals that you lost sight of what really mattered us." There was a fierce honesty in her tone that encapsulated years of bottled frustration and heartache. "I know," Elon said quietly, grappling with the truth behind her accusation while understanding its validity. "I see that now more than ever, but back then I convinced myself that success would make everything else fall into place." The silence that followed was thick with unspoken sentiments as Tallulah contemplated his admission. "It's just hard for me to reconcile all those memories, the good times mixed with all those moments when I felt invisible," she admitted softly. Elon took a deep breath before responding. Vulnerability was difficult for him, but necessary in this moment. "I remember those late nights when you'd sit beside me while I worked," he said thoughtfully. "You always supported me even when I didn't deserve it, and yet I still let you down." "That's exactly it. You often didn't see me. I felt like an afterthought in your life," Tallulah replied, tears welling in her eyes as she recounted those moments of feeling overlooked. "I wish I could go back and change things," Elon murmured, guilt washing over him like cold water. He remembered how he poured himself into his work during those times, how easy it had been to overlook what truly mattered until it slipped through his fingers. "It's not about changing the past anymore," Tallulah said firmly yet softly, her tone shifting towards something more hopeful as she wiped away tears from her cheeks. "It's about recognizing what went wrong and figuring out how we can move forward." Elon nodded slowly. There was wisdom in her words that resonated deeply within him, a glimmer of possibility amidst the wreckage of their pasts. "You're right," he agreed earnestly. "Maybe this is our chance to start fresh, to understand each other better without all the noise surrounding us." As they continued talking late into the night, each dialogue layered upon another like bricks, building a new foundation from which they could begin anew. Each exchange filled with echoes of laughter mingled with pain, transformed gradually into opportunities for understanding. Maybe we can find a way back to each other, Tallulah suggested cautiously as dawn began breaking outside his window, a soft light filtering through blinds painted gold against shadows lingering behind them still. I'd like that, Elon responded sincerely, feeling an unfamiliar warmth spreading through him at the prospect of reuniting not just as partners but as two individuals seeking connection amid chaos once more. In these early morning hours marked by raw honesty lay seeds for healing, plant carefully nurtured throughout years spent apart, yearning toward brighter tomorrows, awaiting boldly beyond horizons, previously obscured by fear or misunderstanding, beckoning patiently forward towards renewal, signifying possibilities reborn anew, woven delicately, threading together endlessly richer landscapes awaiting exploration together once more beneath skies. A light-filled vibrancy shimmering bright, gently igniting flames, rekindled once again, illuminating paths ahead, unfolding promising journeys carved beautifully, entwined harmoniously, thriving under endless skies, united purposefully, navigating adventures boundlessly tethered, lovingly interwoven destinies, blossoming brightly, waiting patiently, exploring realms yet unfathomed. As the call continued, the emotional expression of both Tallulah and Elon became a crucial element in their conversation, revealing profound layers of their relationship. Despite being physically apart, words carried heavy weight, resonating in the silence that surrounded them. The intimacy of their exchange was amplified by raw vulnerability, creating a space where emotions flowed freely, exposing their deepest fears, regrets, and desires. From the outset, Tallulah's voice was tinged with urgency and fear. When she first dialed Elon's number, each sob felt like an echo of her pent-up emotions desperate for release. The frantic nature of her opening remarks captured Elon's attention immediately. They conveyed not just distress, but a plea for understanding, an invitation for him to step into her world momentarily. Her trembling voice served as a manifestation of years spent feeling overlooked and undervalued in both their relationship and her own life. Elon's initial responses were characterized by a mix of concern and confusion. His instinct was to maintain an emotional distance, something he had conditioned himself to do over the years amid pressures from work and public life. However, the rawness of Tallulah's feelings penetrated that barrier. As he absorbed her despair, he began to shift from his analytical mindset toward an emotional receptiveness that surprised even him. When he responded to her cries with tender affirmations, it revealed his willingness to acknowledge the depth of her pain instead of dismissing it, a significant departure from the guarded demeanor he often presented. The use of language during this conversation revealed much about their relationship status. Tallulah's phrases were laced with longing and regret. Her choice of words demonstrated a desire for connection and healing. She didn't merely voice complaints about feeling neglected. She articulated a yearning for intimacy that had been missing, a wish to bridge the gap that had formed between them over time. "I needed you to be vulnerable with me," she stated firmly but gently, her plea encapsulating not just past grievances, but an inherent desire for mutual understanding. Elon responded by acknowledging his shortcomings, which marked a notable change in his usual defensive manner. "I never meant to make you feel abandoned," he said honestly, expressing regret not just verbally but through the sincerity reflected in his tone. Each admission presented an opportunity for vulnerability on both sides, revealing that despite their tumultuous history, there remained a foundation built on real love and shared experience. Emotionally charged phrases dotted their dialogue like breadcrumbs leading toward potential reconciliation. Phrases such as, "It's not about changing the past anymore," introduced hope, a shift toward future possibilities rather than lingering regret. Their exchanges became increasingly reflective as they revealed deeper vulnerabilities. In recounting their memories, Tallulah illustrated how some moments felt like fleeting glimpses of happiness overshadowed by times of isolation. Elon listened carefully, absorbing each detail. This act alone demonstrated respect and empathy, the essential building blocks for re-establishing trust between them. Moreover, pauses in conversation took on significance. They acted as breathing spaces filled with unspoken thoughts that hovered between them like ghosts from the past. Each silence spoke volumes, conveying unaddressed feelings that lingered long after their initial arguments or misunderstanding. As dawn approached and light began filtering softly into Elon's room, there was an unmistakable shift in energy. Realization permeated their discussion. "Maybe we can find a way back to each other," Tallulah suggested cautiously yet hopefully. This pivotal statement encapsulated what had been growing during their heartfelt exchange, an invitation not just to reminisce about what once was, but also to consider what could be if they embraced this newfound understanding. Elon felt warmth surge within him at her words. They gave voice to thoughts brewing beneath layers of complexity for so long. "I'd like that," he said sincerely, committing not just to reconnecting but also to nurturing what had begun as an innocent glimmer of possibility within them, a promise to move beyond mistakes toward a brighter path together. This emotional evolution throughout the conversation illustrated how meaningful communication could serve as both a mirror reflecting their deepest fears while also illuminating pathways toward healing. The delicate interplay between vulnerability and honesty painted a vivid picture of two people wrestling with the weight of unresolved emotions yet steadily working toward building bridges instead of walls. By fully engaging with one another on such visceral levels, expressing pain intertwined with aspiration, their dialogue cast aside superficial barriers forged by time or circumstance, revealing profound truths waiting patiently beneath layers hardened over years apart. As they ventured deep into each other's hearts under the cloak of darkness, giving way to morning's light, they carved out space for reconnection, dressed earnestly in authenticity, drawing closer towards brighter horizons, radiant with hope, shimmering invitingly, beckoning love anew, illuminating every facet, reimagined, beautifully transformed, evolving, driven amid life's uncertainties, heading confidently onward together, closer now, boundlessly intertwined. As the call between Tallulah and Elon unfolded, both individuals began to feel the profound impact of their exchange reverberating through their thoughts and emotions. The insights they gained from this late-night dialogue not only reshaped their perspectives on past events, but also illuminated their current lives in ways neither had anticipated. For Tallulah, the conversation served as a pivotal moment of catharsis, a release for emotions long pent up. Each word shared with Elon peeled back layers of sadness and regret that had accumulated during their years apart. She felt a mixture of vulnerability and empowerment, knowing she was finally articulating her deepest feelings without fear of judgment. "I needed you to be vulnerable with me," she had said, a statement that echoed in her mind even as they spoke. This request, now met with Elon's honesty, transformed her understanding of what vulnerability could truly look like in a relationship. The validation she received from Elon as he acknowledged his shortcomings allowed her to process years of frustration and heartache. No longer was she simply the neglected partner. She became an individual who was factored into Elon's narrative, a person whose feelings mattered deeply. This shift offered Tallulah clarity about her own needs. She realized that reconnecting with Elon meant affirming her worth, reclaiming her voice within their shared history. As the dawn light filtered gently through Elon's room, illuminating the shadows that had lingered too long, Tallulah's perspective transformed from one of sorrow to one of potential. The exchange ignited a flicker of hope for reconciliation, not just with Elon, but within herself as well. She began to envision what she truly wanted moving forward, not only a deeper connection with him, but also a renewed sense of agency in her life, free from the insecurities that had previously plagued her. Elon, too, found himself transformed by this late-night conversation. The emotional barriers he had constructed over the years began to crumble as he listened to Tallulah's heartfelt admissions. Her authenticity forced him to confront aspects of himself he had long avoided, his relentless ambition that often overshadowed personal relationships, and his tendency to prioritize work over emotional bond. Her words brought forth both regrets and realizations that forced him to evaluate how he viewed success. Hearing Tallulah express how abandoned she felt created discomfort but also an awakening for Elon. He recognized how his intense focus on achievements had led him to neglect what was genuinely important: the people in his life who loved him unconditionally. With every acknowledgement of pain from Tallulah came a simultaneous awakening within himself, a recognition that he had not only let her down, but had also struggled to connect with his own vulnerability. "I wish I could go back and change things," he murmured during their discussion. Feeling the weight of those words, they were tinged with regret, yet carried a sense of urgency toward growth. The openness affirmatively revealed immense courage within him. The courage to confront not just his past mistakes, but his future possibilities as well. Their deep dialogue introduced notions of forgiveness and reconciliation. It created pathways leading toward the potential for mutual healing. As they navigated through their memories, both cherished and painful, they began redefining their relationship's narrative from one steeped in past grievances to one filled with compassion and understanding. For Elon, the realization that he still held genuine feelings for Tallulah invigorated him. It opened doors to reflect on how he wanted to approach relationships moving forward, whether with Tallulah or anyone else in his life. The call encouraged him to embrace vulnerability rather than shy away from it, acknowledging that emotional connection was not a weakness but a strength. Blending ambition with personal connection could foster meaningful relationships, enriched by love instead of overshadowed by isolation. As dawn broke and illuminated their conversation with soft light, both individuals sensed that they stood at a crossroads, a pivotal moment where past pains could pave the way for renewed hope. With each shared sentiment, there was an unmistakable shift away from resentment toward an understanding rooted in empathy. "Maybe we can find a way back to each other," Tallulah suggested tentatively as sunlight cast warmth across the room. Elon felt those words resonate in his heart, igniting possibilities for futures woven together anew rather than remaining shackled by history's burden. The emotional exchange marked not just an eventful night for both individuals but served as a critical juncture that would redefine their paths moving forward. Each vulnerable admission forged deeper connections between them, while sowing seeds for healing opportunities as they both navigated life beyond what had once seemed impossible. In the aftermath of this transformative call, both Tallulah and Elon emerged equipped with newfound clarity, the confidence to face their past while embarking upon journeys enriched by introspection, empathy, and hope for what lay ahead. Their conversation reframed perceptions surrounding love, loss, and healing, their intertwined lives still holding the potential for renewal amidst life's unpredictability, beckoning them toward brighter tomorrows filled once more with warmth and connection. As Tallulah Riley and Elon Musk continued their late-night conversation, the influence of public perception loomed like a shadow over their exchange. The external pressures from media scrutiny and societal opinions had always played a significant role in shaping their relationship dynamics, often complicating personal interactions and emotions. Elon, as one of the most high-profile figures in the world, had grown accustomed to the relentless glare of the media spotlight, from headlines speculating about his business decisions to tabloid rumors about his personal life. He faced an incessant barrage of interpretations that could cloud even the most genuine moments. Although much of this attention stemmed from admiration for his achievements, it also brought with it a significant burden: the need to maintain an image that sometimes felt at odds with who he truly was. Tallulah, too, was not immune to the effects of public perception. As an actress and writer frequently subjected to criticism and scrutiny, she understood all too well how easily narratives could be twisted or exaggerated. Every misstep or emotional vulnerability she displayed could quickly become fodder for gossip columns or online commentary, turning intimate struggles into public spectacles. This awareness added another layer of complexity to her feelings during the call. She didn't just want to express her pain, but also sought assurance that her vulnerabilities wouldn't be exploited. As they discussed their past, Tallulah brought up instances when they had both felt suffocated by external expectations. "It's like we were living our lives on display," she said, her voice tinged with frustration. "Every moment became scrutinized, not just by the press, but by fans and critics alike. How can we ever truly connect when everything feels so transactional?" Elon nodded in understanding, recalling moments where he felt compelled to project strength even when he was crumbling inside. "I often felt I had to put on a brave face," he confessed. "The pressure to keep succeeding made me forget about what really mattered: my relationships." His admission reflected not just his personal struggle, but a shared sentiment that resonated deeply with Tallulah. They were both trapped in roles shaped by public perception. "Do you think those pressures made us lose sight of each other?" Tallulah asked hesitantly. It was a question laden with implications, one that forced them to confront how external factors had contributed to their emotional distance. I do, Elon replied earnestly. We got so wrapped up in our public personas that we forgot how to be ourselves around each other. He paused, reflecting on how easy it had been for ambition and outside noise to drown out authentic connection. I realize now that I let outside opinions dictate my choices instead of focusing on what I truly wanted. This acknowledgement unveiled a new layer of vulnerability between them, a realization that while they were both fighting their own battles against external voices, they had inadvertently allowed those voices to dictate their relationship narrative as well. The weight of expectation pushed them into corners where they felt isolated from one another instead of unified. Sometimes I think if only we could have escaped all that noise together, Tallulah mused softly. Maybe we'd have found solace in one another rather than letting everything else pull us apart. Elon felt a wave of nostalgia wash over him at her words, the longing for simpler times when their love had flourished away from prying eyes and judgmental whispers. I wish we'd had more moments like those, he admitted wistfully. Just us being ourselves without worrying about what everyone else thought. Their shared reflections illuminated pathways toward healing. They began to recognize how their relationships with others, friends, family, and fans had skewed their perceptions of self-worth and connection over time. The realization sparked a commitment within them both. Moving forward meant reclaiming authenticity, not just as individuals but as partners who supported one another amidst life's complexities. As dawn approached and sunlight spilled through Elon's window, Tallulah suggested tentatively, maybe we can find ways to shield ourselves from all that noise, create our own space where it's just us. Her proposal awakened hope within Elon. It represented not only a desire for reconciliation, but also an understanding that navigating public perception did not have to define their relationship. I'd love that, Elon replied sincerely, feeling invigorated by her idea. In this moment filled with renewed purpose, he sensed an opportunity not just for themselves but also for mutual growth amid chaos, a chance to build something real together, unconcerned about outside judgment. With this newfound clarity came an understanding they needed each other's support now more than ever, as they faced external pressures while simultaneously working through personal challenges. By confronting how public perception had influenced their pasts and recognizing its potential impact on their futures, they opened up possibilities for cultivating resilience against outside forces trying to infiltrate their bond. The conversation marked a turning point. It provided both Tallulah and Elon with insight into not only how they viewed each other, but also how they perceived themselves within the world at large. A complex web woven intricately through ambition intertwined delicately alongside affection waiting patiently, yearning towards brighter tomorrows, beckoning courageously ahead. The late-night call between Tallulah and Elon marked a transformative moment, but the implications of their heartfelt exchange extended far beyond that solitary conversation. In the days that followed, both individuals found themselves grappling with not only their emotions, but also the potential consequences of this renewed connection. For Tallulah, the act of reaching out to Elon was a significant step toward reclaiming her voice and agency. After their emotionally charged dialogue, she felt empowered to embrace her feelings fully, rather than allowing them to remain buried under layers of regret and past grievances. With this newfound clarity, Tallulah began to prioritize self-care and personal growth. She dove into her creative projects with invigorated passion, channeling her emotions into her work, which seemed to blossom like never before. The anguish she had felt for so long transformed into creativity that manifested in her writing and acting. Moreover, Tallulah recognized that the conversations with Elon had illuminated areas in her life where she needed to establish boundaries, particularly regarding public perception and outside opinion. She decided to take steps to limit her exposure to media scrutiny, confident that prioritizing her mental health would allow for stronger emotional well-being. Whether by hiring a publicist or opting for an intentional hiatus from certain social platforms temporarily, she acknowledged the necessity of shielding herself from influences that could disrupt the peace she was beginning to cultivate. Elon's response to their late-night call was equally profound. The experience forced him to confront aspects of his own character that had long been obscured by his relentless ambition and the demands of his public life. Realizing how deeply he had neglected personal connections in pursuit of success became a catalyst for change in how he approached relationships moving forward. In the aftermath of the call, Elon made a conscious choice to cultivate a balance between his professional ambitions and personal life. He reached out to friends and family he had distanced himself from over the years, acknowledging how important it was to nurture these relationships as sources of love and support amidst the pressures he faced daily. Rebuilding those connections required vulnerability, but he learned from his interaction with Tallulah that embracing emotional openness could strengthen rather than weaken his resolve. Additionally, he took steps to incorporate regular breaks into his high-octane lifestyle, recognizing the importance of reflection and emotional recharge. It became a practice for him to spend quiet mornings meditating or journaling before diving into the whirlwind of business meetings and technological pursuit. These moments allowed him space to consider not only professional decisions, but also how those choices impacted people around him, especially those he cared about. Tallulah and Elon each found themselves contemplating their future paths with a sense of hope ignited by their midnight conversation. They began communicating more frequently, exchanging messages filled with encouragement and insights about their lives. This steady reconnection fostered an unspoken promise between them, to be forthright in expressing their feelings, desires, or worries instead of allowing misunderstandings or external influences to create distance once again. One evening, several weeks after their call, they agreed to meet in person for dinner, a cautious but significant step forward. As they sat across from each other at a cozy restaurant away from prying eyes, the atmosphere buzzed with both excitement and nervous energy. Their conversations flowed more easily now. They shared laughter punctuated by deeper discussions about personal ambitions and vulnerabilities, weaving together threads of understanding they had started forming over the phone. Their reunion held within it both nostalgia and anticipation, an acknowledgement of what they had lost, combined with optimism for what was still possible. Elon observed how radiant Tallulah appeared when sharing news about her recent projects. Her zeal reinvigorated him in ways he hadn't expected. For her part, Tallulah noticed a shift in Elon's demeanor, a gentleness that contrasted sharply with the intensity he often exuded as a public figure. Yet despite this emerging warmth between them, unspoken feelings lingered in the air. Tallulah couldn't shake off that familiar blend of hope tinged with fear. What if they were merely revisiting unresolved issues? What if the pressures from outside world re-emerged to overshadow their newfound commitment? However, sitting across from Elon and experiencing his genuine interest shattered those fears momentarily, allowing dialogue to flourish as it once did. By openly addressing underlying insecurities or expectations in those intimate moments together, whether during phone calls or face-to-face meetings, they slowly forged a new path, one grounded in authenticity that honored their histories while simultaneously looking forward. This willingness to confront unresolved feelings held great significance, not just between them, but also shaping their outlooks on relationships, moving beyond traditional definitions, based solely on past attachments or societal expectations, tethered tightly before. As clarity emerged from shared experiences articulated through both heartfelt exchanges during midnight hours, along with genuine presence there together, beneath shared laughter, echoing resoundingly harmonizing dreams anew. Steadily blossoming before brightening horizons, beckoning confidently ahead, both Tallulah Riley and Elon Musk embarked hand in hand toward journeys previously unimagined, trusting yet eager, navigating through complexity, intersecting seamlessly, blending towards futures intertwined, beautifully, invitingly unfolding. As the narrative of Tallulah Riley and Elon Musk unfolds, it becomes a poignant reflection on the vital themes of communication, emotional support, and the complexities inherent in relationships. Their late-night call marked a turning point, not just in their personal journey, but also as a reminder of how open dialogue can forge paths to understanding, healing, and ultimately reconciliation. The initial moment of vulnerability that prompted Tallulah to reach out to Elon was fueled by a cocktail of emotions: sadness, longing, and a desperate need for connection. It highlighted how crucial it is to express one's feelings rather than suppress them under the weight of societal expectations or personal fears. When Tallulah dialed his number at 2 a.m., she took a significant step toward not only confronting her own emotional turmoil, but also inviting Elon back into her life in a way that was authentic and honest. For Elon, this late-night exchange served as an awakening. While he had often been consumed by external pressures, his high-profile career and the relentless scrutiny from the media, he realized through Tallulah's openness that true strength lies in vulnerability. He learned that allowing oneself to be emotionally exposed could lead to deeper connections rather than perceived weaknesses. This revelation transformed his understanding of relationships. He began to see them not just as obligations or transactions, but as intricate bonds requiring nurturing and honesty. The conversation they shared illuminated the importance of actively engaging with one another's feelings. As they navigated through past grievances and misunderstandings, they fostered an environment where both felt safe to express their regrets and aspirations. This newfound openness created space for empathy, a realization that neither was alone in their struggles and that their shared history could be a foundation for growth, rather than a source of pain. Tallulah's journey toward reclaiming her voice exemplifies the power of self-advocacy. By articulating her feelings during the call, she empowered herself to prioritize her mental health and well-being. She recognized the need to establish boundaries that would allow her to thrive without being overshadowed by external perceptions or societal pressure. This conscious decision set an important precedent, not only for her relationship with Elon, but also for her own sense of identity as an individual beyond public scrutiny. Conversely, Elon's commitment to reconnecting with those he had distanced himself from demonstrates how emotional support plays a vital role in navigating complex relationships. The realization that he had neglected personal connections for professional pursuits ignited within him a desire to cultivate meaningful relationships, enriched by love and trust. His proactive steps toward reaching out to friends and family illustrated an understanding that emotional sustenance is essential for overall fulfillment. As Tallulah and Elon continued to communicate more frequently after their transformative call, they established a foundation built on authenticity, a commitment to be forthright about their feelings and intentions moving forward. Their willingness to confront uncertainties together allowed them to navigate potential pitfalls that could arise from previous misunderstandings or societal expectations. Their eventual dinner meeting symbolized this commitment. It was not merely a rekindling of old flames, but an opportunity for both individuals to explore what it meant to truly connect again beyond public personas. As they sat together at that cozy restaurant, laughter mingled with deeper discussions about their ambitions, fears, and desires, threads weaving together their pasts while simultaneously paving new pathways into the future. The lessons learned from this experience resonate far beyond just Tallulah and Elon's relationship. They serve as reminders of the importance of communication in all forms of human connection. Whether it is between partners, friends, or family members, finding ways to articulate emotions openly can lead to profound transformations, both personally and relationally. In navigating their complex relationship amidst external pressures, both Tallulah and Elon emerged with renewed clarity on what they wanted from each other moving forward. They discovered that while public perception may hold sway over aspects of their lives, it does not have to define their journeys together. Instead, by fostering authentic communication grounded in emotional support, they could create a sanctuary away from judgment, a space where love flourished amid life's uncertainty. Ultimately, their story underscores a universal truth. Navigating complex relationships requires courage. Courage not just in expressing one's own feelings, but also in being receptive to those of others. Through shared vulnerabilities and open conversations, individuals can cultivate connections rich with empathy that transcend challenges posed by external forces. As Tallulah Riley and Elon Musk venture forth into new chapters of their lives intertwined yet uniquely distinct, the lessons gleaned from their late-night call resonate deeply within them. Love thrives when nurtured with sincerity and understanding amidst life's unpredictability, beckoning brightly toward futures ripe with possibility. In the realm of modern celebrity, few figures captivate the public's imagination quite like Elon Musk. Known predominantly for his groundbreaking work with companies like Tesla and SpaceX, Musk has carved a niche for himself not just in technology and business, but also in the complex landscape of celebrity culture. His rapid ascent to fame, characterized by an unwavering ambition and a seemingly insatiable drive for innovation, has made him a focal point for media scrutiny. Yet beneath the layers of his public persona lies a deeply intricate and often tumultuous personal life that draws equal fascination from fans and critics alike. Elon Musk's relationships have always been a topic of significant interest. His marriage to Justine Wilson was marked by both love and tragedy, culminating in the heartbreaking loss of their first child shortly after birth. Their subsequent divorce became fodder for tabloids, as the split revealed underlying tensions that many could not help but speculate about. Musk's life took yet another turn when he married Tallulah Riley, a relationship that oscillated between profound highs and painful lows, ultimately resulting in two separate divorces. Each chapter of his romantic history seems to mirror the relentless pursuit of perfection he exhibits in his professional venture. The public's intrigue with Musk is amplified by his social media presence, which offers a glimpse into the millionaire's thoughts and feelings, often raw and unfiltered. His tweets can range from cryptic existential musings to impulsive remarks that land him in hot water with investors or regulators. In particular, his relationship announcements and separations tend to dominate headlines. When he began dating superstar musician Grimes, speculation surrounding their unconventional partnership only intensified the media frenzy, pointing to a reality where the lines between innovation and emotional turmoil blur. This fascination often evolves into sympathy or judgment from audiences as they attempt to interpret Musk's motivations and choices. Why do seemingly successful people struggle so profoundly with their intimate lives? Musk embodies this paradox, a man who has revolutionized industries yet navigates the turbulent seas of romance amid intense public scrutiny. As we peel back the layers of Elon Musk's complicated emotional landscape, we discover moments that significantly shape who he is beyond the headline. One pivotal instance is reflected in late-night calls from loved ones seeking comfort during moments of vulnerability, calls that underscore both strength and fragility within human connection. Onlookers might find themselves captivated by these intersections. It's not merely about business deals or technological advances, it's also about genuine emotional experiences shared between individuals navigating life's labyrinth. Within this context, we revisit an unforgettable night when his ex-wife reached out to him at an unexpected hour, 2 a.m. The timing speaks volumes. It conveys an intensity of emotions that typically flares up during such late hours. There's a haunting beauty in nighttime conversations. It's when shields are lowered, when facade gives way to sincerity, often illuminating the heart's rawest truths. The act itself becomes symbolic, a plea for understanding and connection amidst chaos. Musk's response to receiving such an urgent call at an indecent hour would be emblematic not just of their past, but of his character as well. There lies an inherent conflict within him, the relentless drive for success, juxtaposed against the need for human connection, a struggle many can relate to on some level. At this moment in time when fame has reached its heights but personal attachments feel tenuous at best, how Musk navigates this conversation becomes vital in portraying his evolution as both an entrepreneur and a human being. Nevertheless, it would be myopic to believe that this one instance encapsulates all there is to understand about either individual involved. Rather, it serves as a focal point through which we can examine only one facet of their relationship, the impact of vulnerability on personal connections amidst external pressure. As we delve deeper into what happened in that fateful conversation at 2 a.m., the emotions exchanged, revelations unveiled, the magnitude of this moment may leave you questioning assumptions held about high-profile figures. It opens doors to reflections on mental health and emotional resilience within the demanding world they inhabit. Ultimately, while Elon Musk may shine brighter than many others in the realm of innovation and entrepreneurship, it is essential not to overlook those moments where glimmers of humanity shine through, emotional tribulations that can evoke compassion rather than mere fascination. This is perhaps what makes us drawn to Musk. Despite being larger than life, he remains profoundly human, a narrative woven through complexities that deserve contemplation and respect. So let us pause here before plunging into that fateful phone call where emotion intertwines destiny, ready to unfold a poignant story that explores love entwined with heartbreak amid unparalleled fame. What happens next will leave you speechless indeed. To truly understand the significance of that late-night call, we must first delve into the life of Justine Musk, Elon's first wife. Justine was born Justine Wilson in 1972 in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada. An aspiring writer, she pursued her passion for literature while studying at Queen's University. It was during this time that she met Elon Musk, who would eventually change her life in ways she could never have anticipated. After their whirlwind romance culminated in marriage in 2000, the couple seemed poised to embark on a shared journey of success. At first glance, their partnership mirrored the dynamic energy found in Musk's entrepreneurial ventures, full of promise and ambition. Justine supported Elon through the early days of his career, when he was still struggling to establish himself with ventures like Zip2 and XCOM, which would later become PayPal. Their relationship thrived on a mutual drive for innovation and ambition, but as Musk began to ascend into the stratosphere of tech stardom, cracks started to appear. The couple welcomed their first son, Nevada Alexander Musk. Tragically, Nevada passed away at just 10 weeks old due to sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS, a devastating loss that marked the beginning of profound emotional challenges for both Justine and Elon. This heartbreak reshaped their relationship in ways that would become increasingly apparent over time. Justine later described the impact of their son's death as a defining moment that created an emotional chasm between them, one that neither could fully bridge. In 2004, the couple welcomed twins Griffin and Xavier through IVF and followed up with triplets Kai, Saxon, and Damien in 2006. While parenthood brought joy and laughter into their lives, it also added layers of complexity to their relationship. The demands of raising 5 children alongside Elon's burgeoning career proved overwhelming at times. Justine found herself grappling with feelings of isolation as Elon became more consumed by his work and ambition. As Musk's career skyrocketed with Tesla's electric vehicles and SpaceX's ambitious space missions, Justine felt increasingly sidelined in both her marriage and her own aspiration. She struggled to maintain her identity as an author while navigating the challenges of motherhood amidst a relentless media spotlight focused on her husband's achievement. The disparity between their public personas, a visionary entrepreneur versus a struggling writer, only widened the gap between them. By 2008, after 8 years of marriage, Justine and Elon made the difficult decision to separate. Their divorce was highly publicized and often sensationalized by tabloids eager to dissect every facet of their lives. The dissolution of their marriage revealed not just personal struggles, but also reflected broader themes about love, ambition, and sacrifice within high-pressure environments. In subsequent interviews, Justine candidly spoke about her emotional aftermath post-divorce. Her battle with depression and feelings of inadequacy were exacerbated by the public scrutiny that followed them both. She noted how difficult it was to reconcile her identity with being Elon Musk's ex-wife, rather than being recognized for her own accomplishments as a writer. This narrative shift became a source of frustration for her. It underscored how closely intertwined their lives had become, yet highlighted how alone she felt after they parted ways. Despite these hardships, Justine managed to carve out her path as an author. She published several novels and short stories that explore themes such as love and loss, echoing her own experiences while providing catharsis through storytelling. In many ways, writing became a sanctuary where she could process her emotions away from the public eye. Their relationship continued to evolve even after the divorce. There were moments when they attempted reconciliation or expressed hope for co-parenting effectively amid personal struggles. Yet each interaction seemed laden with unspoken tension, a reminder of what was lost along with lingering affection mixed with unresolved conflicts. Fast forward to today, when Justine reached out to Elon at 2 a.m. crying on that fateful night, it signified not just nostalgia or sorrow but also encapsulated years filled with shared experiences colored by both joy and grief. The call acted as a poignant reminder that despite their separation, deep emotional ties still lingered beneath the surface, echoes from a past that shaped both individuals profoundly. As we prepare to unravel what transpired during this critical phone call, delving into shared memories layered with complexities, it's essential to recognize how much personal history influences present circumstances. The aftermath of their union has undoubtedly left marks on both Justine's artistic expression and Elon's understanding of relationships moving forward. The story is about more than just two people caught in the whirlwind of fame. It's about human fragility faced against expectations set by society, a tale interwoven across time where love transforms into longing amid heartache. Therein lies an important lesson about vulnerability. No matter how high one rises in success or notoriety, the essence remains grounded within intimate connections shared throughout life's journey. A fact that might just leave us all speechless as we continue this exploration together. As the clock struck 2 a.m., an unsettling quiet enveloped Justine Musk's home. The stillness of the night was punctuated only by the sound of her own breath as she wrestled with a storm of emotions that had been building for weeks, if not months. It was during these late hours that feelings often bubble to the surface, unencumbered by the distractions of the day. In such moments, vulnerability emerges. When darkness falls, fears and regrets often loom larger than life. Justine picked up her phone, hesitating for a brief moment. The weight of what she was about to do pressed heavily on her chest. To reach out to Elon at this hour felt both daunting and necessary. Yet this wasn't merely a midnight whim. This was a desperate need for connection born from grief and unresolved history. As she dialed his number, she knew she was crossing an invisible threshold back into a shared past, filled with both cherished memories and emotional scars. Why would someone choose such an inconvenient hour to seek solace? At 2 a.m., most people find themselves sipping herbal tea or drifting off to sleep. For many, it is also a time when they confront their innermost thoughts, stripped of distractions and bravado. In Justine's case, the late-night call symbolized the essence of distress, a plea for understanding during a time when feelings were too overwhelming to contain. Elon Musk had always been someone Justine could rely on during periods of turbulence, even after their divorce. Despite standing on opposite sides of their personal divide, there remained echoes of empathy rooted in shared experiences. Their bond had endured through major upheavals, from overwhelming joy in welcoming children to the unbearable sorrow of loss. Yet now, in this moment filled with uncertainty and heartache, she felt compelled to reach out one more time. The significance of this call couldn't be overstated. It represented more than just a conversation between ex-spouses. It was an intersection where vulnerability met longing. Justine's tears were not solely those of sadness, but rather a mixture of nostalgia for what once was and anxiety about what lay ahead. It made sense that she chose to connect at such an ungodly hour. Often the cloak of night provides a safe space for honesty, even if it's hard honesty. Elon himself had been awake that night, fixated on work as usual, his mind racing with calculations and ideas not bound by typical waking hours. When his phone rang with Justine's name flashing on the screen, he felt a jolt run through him. He hadn't heard from her in quite some time, not in this context where emotions would take center stage instead of discussions about co-parenting or logistics regarding their children. When he answered her call, he instantly sensed something amiss in her voice. It trembled as it revealed layers of vulnerability that had perhaps remained hidden behind walls built over years. Justine was crying, each sob resonating through the receiver like echoes reverberating off cold walls inside a vast empty space once filled with laughter and love. They both knew this wasn't just casual chit-chat. It was an emotional reckoning meant to unravel years' worth of pent-up feelings shaped by loss and separation. Each word uttered carried weight. Small talk would feel insincere amidst such rawness. Justine's call became an invitation into emotional territory that many shy away from. Forces like guilt mingled with reluctance washed over them both as they embraced this moment together. As they conversed in the stillness of early morning light, memories flashed before them. Evenings spent sharing dreams over candlelit dinners juxtaposed against darker times colored by loss and grief. How could they reconcile everything? The lives intertwined so intricately, fraying apart, yet still yearning for threads that might connect them again. The complexities unfurled like layers within an onion. It took courage to peel back those layers even when tears flowed freely. This phone call would serve as a catalyst propelling them towards revelations long overdue, a moment where unspoken sentiments could find expression amidst years spent dancing around discomforts rather than confronting truths head-on. The significance thus unfolds: two individuals who once forged dreams together, seeking comfort in each other amidst brokenness, a stark reminder that even high-profile figures aren't immune to feelings that tug at their hearts against public facades built around success. While they may traverse different paths since their separation, a tale marked by triumphs and tribulations, the late-night call illuminated how threads connecting them continued to linger beneath life's chaos. For those minutes spent talking back and forth under dim lights served as tangible proof that connections, forged through shared experiences, endure despite external circumstances trying relentlessly to pull them apart. As we move forward into the depths of what transpired during this conversation, the subtleties woven into every exchange, we will uncover revelations worthy enough to leave us all speechless, truths echoing across time, reminding us how vulnerability can reveal humanity even among those who seem untouchable. As Justine's voice trembled through the phone, Elon felt a rush of emotions surge within him, a blend of concern, nostalgia, and an instinctive urge to provide comfort. The air was thick with unspoken words, the kind that lingered in the silences between them. "Justine," he began softly, his voice steady despite the apprehension that hung in the balance. "What's wrong? I don't know how to explain it," she managed to say, her voice cracking under the weight of her tears. The emotional tone of the conversation shifted as Justine poured out her heart, painting a picture of her struggles over the past months. "It's just been overwhelming," she continued, the rawness of her vulnerability echoing through the speaker. "I feel lost and so far away from everything we once had." Elon listened intently, his mind racing to keep up as she spoke. He could hear the pain in her words, each syllable laden with memories and unprocessed grief. Justine spoke about the isolation she felt as a single mother, juggling 5 children while navigating the public scrutiny that accompanied her ex-husband's fame. "I thought I'd find my way back to myself after everything," she confessed, "but instead, I feel like I'm just drifting further away." Elon's heart ached for her as he recalled their shared experiences, the laughter that once filled their home and the dreams they had built together. "Justine," he said gently, "you're not drifting away. You're still here, you always will be." The sincerity in his voice was palpable, a lifeline thrown into turbulent waters. The atmosphere shifted again as Justine revealed the true reason behind her call, the catalyst that had pushed her to reach out in such a vulnerable state. "I've been thinking about everything we've been through, our children, the good times and the bad," she said. "And I miss those moments. I miss you." Elon paused, taking in her words. Those 3 simple phrases struck him like a bolt of lightning, illuminating the shadows of their shared past. It was a recognition of their intertwined lives, one that had been obscured by time and distance since their separation. "I miss you too," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. The admission hung suspended in the night air, heavy with emotion. As the conversation unfolded, Elon found himself reflecting on the complexities of their relationship, the love that had shifted and evolved over time, marked by both joy and heartache. Justine expressed feelings of inadequacy, haunted by comparisons to Elon's achievements and public persona. "I sometimes feel like I'm just Elon Musk's ex-wife rather than Justine," she lamented. Her honesty pierced through the veil of casual conversation, exposing deeper insecurities that had previously been hidden beneath the surface. "Justine," Elon responded earnestly, "you are so much more than that title. Your work as a writer matters. It always has." His attempt to reassure her stemmed from an understanding forged through years spent together, but he also recognized how difficult it was for her to embrace that truth amidst societal pressure. Their dialogue flowed back and forth like a dance, each revelation met with understanding, each silence filled with shared memories. They spoke of their children, reminiscing about their first steps, and laughter echoing through their home. In those moments, it became evident how deeply connected they remained, despite their physical separation. As the conversation progressed, Justine allowed herself to delve even deeper into her emotional landscape. She spoke candidly about her fears of not being enough for their children, of failing to fulfill her aspirations as an author amid overwhelming responsibilities. Elon listened without interruption, Each word opened up pathways toward healing that had long remained shackled by regret. "I feel like I'm stuck in this cycle," she admitted softly, tears still glistening in her eyes. "It's like I want to move forward but can't seem to break free from what's holding me back." A silence followed as Elon absorbed her vulnerability, a poignant reminder that even those who seem untouchable carry their own burdens beneath polished exterior. In that moment of intimacy shared over a phone line at 2 a.m., both were reminded that love can manifest in various forms, as friendship, as remembrance, or simply as acceptance of one another's flaws. Elon felt compelled to reassure Justine, "You're facing your battles head-on. That takes incredible strength." The conversation continued through the early hours of dawn. With each passing minute, layers of resentment and sorrow began to unravel, replaced by an understanding that had been hard-fought, yet always lingering beneath the surface. Ultimately, this late-night call became more than just a conversation. It served as an emotional crossroads where unresolved feelings found expression, fostering reconciliation between two individuals who once shared a life but were now navigating distinct paths, intertwined by memory and affection. As dawn approached, illuminating their surroundings with soft light seeping through windows, both Elon and Justine realized this pivotal moment would resonate far beyond that night. A reminder of resilience and the healing power of connection amidst life's unpredictability. What transpired would undoubtedly leave them both speechless, revealing truths long buried within hearts, seeking solace from each other once more. As the call unfolded, Elon Musk found himself navigating a labyrinth of emotions that he often concealed behind his public persona. Known for his relentless ambition and groundbreaking contributions to technology, he was seen as a titan, an individual who conquered challenges with confidence and determination. Yet, in the quiet of that early morning, hearing Justine's vulnerable confession cracked open a door to a more nuanced side of himself, one that lay hidden beneath layers of achievement and media scrutiny. Initially, Elon felt a rush of protective instinct when he heard Justine's trembling voice. It stirred an ancient instinct within him, a desire to shelter someone who had shared so many pivotal moments of his life. He was reminded of the warmth they once shared, the laughter that filled their home, and the dreams they crafted together. It was an emotional jolt, forcing him to confront feelings he had long buried beneath his work and responsibilities. As Justine spoke about her sense of loss and her struggles, Elon wrestled with how to respond. The vulnerability she displayed struck him profoundly. It peeled back the facade he often wore in public. Here was someone who had shared his life, someone he once loved deeply, exposing her insecurities and pain without pretense. It was a stark contrast to the way his life played out on social media, a carefully curated existence filled with triumphs and technological feats, rarely showing signs of emotional turmoil. Elon realized that vulnerability is often viewed as a weakness in high-stakes environments like his, but in this moment it felt like a strength. He recognized that allowing himself to feel empathy and compassion could forge deeper connections, not only with Justine but also with others in his life. "You're facing your battles head-on. That takes incredible strength," he told her, searching for words to reassure her while simultaneously recognizing his own need to be open. For Elon, this call represented a rare opportunity for introspection. As a man at the forefront of innovation and technology, someone used to making calculated decisions, he was unaccustomed to being thrust into such emotional territory. Yet there was clarity in this exchange that eluded him during daylight hours filled with meetings and deadlines. In those quiet moments spent speaking to Justine, he began processing the weight of their shared history and the guilt that arose from their separation. He couldn't escape thoughts of how their paths diverged following their divorce, the pressures he faced as a figurehead in tech, juxtaposed against Justine's struggles as a single mother, longing for acceptance and identity beyond her association with him. It felt unjust to him that she carried so much alone while he continued to soar professionally. This realization opened up another layer of vulnerability. It made him question whether he had truly supported her during their marriage or whether his ambition had overshadowed her needs. As they delved deeper into their conversation, discussing fears and hopes for the future, Elon struggled between wanting to protect Justine's heart while also safeguarding his own. The weight of his fame and the public eye often left little room for genuine emotional expression, revealing too much could invite scrutiny, or worse yet, judgment from those who often misinterpreted vulnerability as weakness. The call challenged him to redefine what strength meant in both personal and professional realms. Despite these complexities, Elon found himself drawn toward honesty glimmering through their exchange like a beacon guiding them through murky waters. When he admitted missing Justine too, it wasn't just about nostalgia, it held much deeper implications, a recognition of shared trauma that lingered long after their marriage ended. In that intimate space created by Midnight Confessions, Elon acknowledged how the pressures of success can isolate even the most accomplished individuals. No matter how high one climbs on societal ladders, feelings such as loneliness and inadequacy can seep in if not addressed openly. Their conversation became an exploration not just of their relationship but also broader themes about mental health, how essential it is for those in high-pressure positions to embrace emotional honesty rather than hiding behind achievement. As dawn approached and illuminated the darkness around them, both felt invigorated by the shifts happening within each other's hearts. The mutual understanding fostered during this unexpected reconnection became a catalyst for growth, not just between them but also internally for Elon as he embraced lessons learned from Justine's raw honesty. Ultimately, this 2 a.m. call forced Musk to confront realities about love, loss, and emotional resilience outside the expectations set by fame or success. It became clear that true strength lies in allowing oneself to be vulnerable, recognizing that everyone carries baggage shaped by experiences both painful and transformative. What transpired during this late-night dialogue would resonate far beyond their immediate conversation, its implications rippling through their respective lives long after the phone hung up and daylight broke through the horizon. In revealing truths about themselves under shared burdens while seeking comfort from each other once more, they discovered something extraordinary. Vulnerability is not just human, but essential for connection amid life's unpredictable journey. In the days following that pivotal call, both Justine and Elon found themselves reflecting on their intertwined lives in ways they had not done for years. The emotional intimacy shared during the late-night conversation lingered between them like an unspoken agreement, an acknowledgement that neither truly wanted to remain estranged. The question loomed, would this newfound vulnerability drive them toward reconciliation or deepen the chasm that had developed over time? For Justine, the call served as a catalyst for reevaluating her feelings about not only her past relationship with Elon, but also her current life circumstances. It took root in her mind, prompting her to ponder if emotional honesty could be reinstated in their interactions going forward. In those confiding moments, she had shared parts of herself that she had kept hidden for so long, revealing vulnerabilities that she thought would be met with dismissal, but were instead welcomed by an understanding ear. Likewise, Elon found himself reassessing his perspective on relationships. His busy schedule was often filled with projects and responsibilities. He rarely allowed himself the luxury of considering personal connections deeply. However, Justine's heartfelt expressions of longing prompted him to reflect on how their joint history shaped their present life. He began to feel an urge to prioritize emotional transparency moving forward, both in terms of his own feelings and in being more supportive of those close to him. Yet, while weeks passed with increased communication between them, text messages checking in on each other and occasional phone calls, the path to reconciliation proved bumpy. Old habits die hard. Both were accustomed to keeping emotional distance as a protective measure against further hurt. Justine sometimes wrestled with doubts about whether Elon was sincere in his attempts at connection, or if he was merely feeling guilt over their past. In many ways, this tension highlighted the complexities inherent in their relationship. They both carried unresolved pain from their marriage and its end. Justine occasionally found herself feeling vulnerable again, wondering whether exposing herself emotionally would only lead back to disappointment. She questioned if leaning into this renewed connection with Elon could ultimately fulfill her need for companionship, or if it could risk reopening old wounds. Elon faced similar introspection. Although he felt drawn to rekindle a genuine friendship or perhaps even something deeper, he couldn't ignore the implications of his public persona on his private life. The media's consistent gaze added pressure. As someone who often operated under a microscope, the potential scrutiny of reopening doors with Justine weighed heavily on his mind. Would people misinterpret their rekindling relationship? Would they assume that he was simply seeking forgiveness rather than genuine connection? Despite these concerns, there were moments when the barriers began to melt away altogether. Exchanges where laughter bubbled up unexpectedly amid discussions about parenting or reminiscing about shared experiences from their past that brought them closer together rather than apart. Their children often became natural points of connection, discussing their accomplishments or plans filled conversations with warmth, helping ease any lingering tension. As they delved into these exchanges about family life and supported each other as co-parents, something remarkable started to happen. Healing began unfolding amidst the layers of complex emotion wrapped around their history. They started recognizing that love takes on various forms and does not necessarily need to be romantic to be meaningful. At family gatherings that featured both parents cheering on their children, Justine felt an air of camaraderie she hadn't anticipated experiencing again with Elon. There was genuine joy flowing between them, one that arose organically out of co-parenting rather than forced interactions fraught with past grievances. However, despite these promising developments, lingering uncertainties still clouded the horizon as they navigated uncharted territory not frequently traversed after separation. Serious discussions regarding future possibilities, whether collaboration on projects or deepening personal interactions, remained tentative. Justine was particularly cautious about setting expectations too high. Every time she felt hope blossom within her chest from their recent reconnections came conflicting apprehensions, whispering reminders of past disappointments, lurking nearby like shadows refusing to vanish completely. Elon's sentiments mirrored hers. He knew how easily things could shift once again should they allow old patterns of misunderstandings back into play. Still, within this climate filled with discovery lay an undeniable possibility for growth. Not just for them as individuals, but as co-parents navigating this winding journey called life together. The impact of that initial late-night call rippled outward like waves across a pond, the potential for reconciliation blossoming through harrowing risks associated with vulnerability, ultimately defining new dimensions within their relationship dynamics. In embracing such fragile threads woven tightly through shared burdens might just create pathways leading toward healing. A reclamation process manifesting not only deeper roots anchoring trust, but also cultivating seeds ready to bloom anew as they traverse whatever comes next together. Time would reveal where this journey led them, whether toward reconciliation or forging stronger ties grounded richly in understanding. Their willingness to address shared histories offered renewed hope against overwhelming odds, ensuring love persisted amid complications inherent within life's unpredictability. As news of the 2 a.m. call between Justine and Elon Musk went public, the media was quick to seize upon the story, launching into a frenzy of speculation and sensationalism that would soon dominate headlines around the world. The public's fascination with celebrity relationships, particularly those involving high-profile figures like Elon, escalated to new heights, reflecting an insatiable appetite for personal drama distilled from the lives of the rich and famous. Every major outlet reported on the late-night conversation, each one eager to dig deeper into the emotional implications of their rekindled connection. Headlines ranged from the poignant to the salacious. Elon and Justine's midnight confessions and a cry for help. Justine Musk's emotional call graced front pages, while social media buzzed with theories about what this meant for their relationship. Fans and critics alike felt compelled to weigh in, as if their approval or disapproval could somehow influence the unfolding narrative. In the age of social media, where information travels at lightning speed, platforms like Twitter and Instagram became battlegrounds for commentary surrounding their situation. Users dissected every angle. Some expressed empathy for Justine's vulnerability, while others criticized Elon for past perceived shortcomings as a partner. The conversation spurred countless discussions about marriage, separation, parenting, and the normalization of vulnerability in a high-stakes world. This phenomenon wasn't merely a reflection of their personal story, it mirrored society's growing obsession with celebrity culture and relationships. People are not just drawn to glimmering achievements in technology or business, they crave glimpses behind the curtain into the human experience. How do these titans face heartbreak, loss, or emotional struggle? It isn't enough to admire their success. Audiences yearn for connection through shared humanity, that deeply flawed yet relatable aspect that exists within everyone. Yet it was this very obsession that proved problematic as well. The sensationalization of Justine's heartfelt call blurred lines between private pain and public spectacle. Was it a moment of true emotional reckoning for two people trying to find common ground as co-parents, or merely fodder for tabloid speculation? Critics voiced concerns about how media scrutiny can distort genuine experiences into narratives designed to attract clicks, undermining authentic connections formed during vulnerable moments. Amidst this whirlwind of reactions, Justine herself found she had become a focal point in a reality show that she never auditioned for, one that operated seamlessly without her consent. As someone who had often been portrayed through a lens of comparison to her ex-husband's staggering accomplishments rather than her own individuality and agency as an author, she faced intensified scrutiny now. Would her honesty be seen as strength or merely desperation? What would it mean for her reputation in an already judgmental media landscape? Elon too had to navigate this minefield of public perception post-call. His every statement, carefully parsed by spectators, eager to draw conclusions about his intentions and emotional state. Here stood a man revered for his innovations, yet torn apart when he stepped beyond professional boundaries into areas where mistakes were magnified under public scrutiny. Was he genuinely attempting reconciliation with Justine out of deep-seated affection, or simply acting out of guilt following their shared histories? Speculation ran rampant. However unsettling these reactions may have been, there was also an upside amid the chaos. Discussions about mental health gained traction as fans and commentators began discussing vulnerability openly, how sharing one's struggles could inspire others facing similar challenges. The spotlight cast upon their story highlighted themes that extended far beyond fame, instances where isolation became painfully familiar amidst ambitious pursuits faced by many individuals battling societal expectations. In many ways, the focus on Elon and Justine's relationship shone light on broader issues surrounding societal norms, what it means to love imperfectly amid pressures from family dynamics or workplace ambitions. And it offered an opportunity for dialogue that moved beyond mere gossip into understanding emotional resilience. As days turned into weeks following that fateful call, both Elon and Justine began feeling the weight of expectation weighing heavily upon them as they reconsidered what would come next. Amid new challenges presented by an audience captivated by every twist and turn narrated through media channels across television screens and smartphones worldwide. The aftermath instigated reflections not only on personal growth, but also on navigating fame, while guarding one's vulnerabilities against relentless public interpretation. A delicate balance inherent in high-profile celebrity statuses shaped by societal fixation with relational drama. While they undertook steps toward healing privately away from prying eyes, it became evident that their journey transcended individual stories emerging intertwined with larger conversations. Traditional media often sidesteps love's fragility amidst trials faced even by those deemed untouchable. In acknowledging these complexities through candid expressions shared during intimate exchanges, a reminder lingered that vulnerability has immense power. It can bridge gaps left wide open, but begs respect amidst overwhelming attention from those eager to witness its unfolding narrative. As Elon Musk continued to process the emotional fallout from his late-night conversation with Justine, he found himself at a crossroads in both his personal and professional life. The call had opened floodgates of introspection, forcing him to confront the very human aspects of his existence that he often overshadowed with relentless ambition and groundbreaking projects. Despite being a titan in the tech world, overseeing companies like Tesla and SpaceX, he was not immune to the vulnerabilities that plagued anyone grappling with complex relationships. At work, Elon was knee-deep in several high-stakes projects that demanded his full attention. With Tesla's production ramping up and SpaceX planning its next mission to Mars, the pressure was immense. His schedule was filled with back-to-back meetings, strategy sessions, and investor calls, each demanding the sort of laser focus that had become synonymous with his reputation. Yet even amidst these achievements, he felt a growing sense of disconnection from what truly mattered. The late-night call with Justine had illuminated this disconnect. It had brought a wave of emotions that suddenly felt more pressing than quarterly reports or product launch. In moments of solitude between meetings, Elon found himself reflecting on what it meant to balance such an intense career while seeking genuine connections in his personal life. He recognized that much of his focus had been directed outward, towards building empires and achieving milestones, while neglecting the emotional landscape within himself and those closest to him. The stark realization prompted him to ponder whether this singular focus on success had cost him meaningful relationships, including the one he once shared with Justine. The call had also surfaced many personal challenges that Elon had tucked away under layers of professional urgency. He recalled how public scrutiny often made him retreat into a shell. Every misstep magnified under the media microscope felt like an unending battle against perception. As he navigated these challenges, he wondered how much longer he could hold on to this image of invulnerability without addressing the emotional toll it took on him personally. Musk's newfound perspective on vulnerability began influencing how he approached relationships beyond just. He started engaging more openly with colleagues and friends about their own struggles, sharing stories about failure alongside triumphs in meetings, rather than simply highlighting successes alone. These small shifts fostered a culture of openness at Tesla and SpaceX. Some employees noted feeling more empowered to express their concerns or ideas without fear of judgment. Elon also began reevaluating his role as a father. He found himself becoming more present during family moments, channeling energy into spending quality time with all of his children, rather than merely showering them with gifts or delegating parenting responsibility. He understood that connections were forged through shared experiences rather than material exchanges. It was important for him to be engaged and emotionally available for them. Still, despite these intentions for deeper connections, remnants of past patterns lingered in Elon's mind. Emotional walls built over years could not be dismantled overnight. Apprehensions about being vulnerable around others often crept back in during moments when he least expected them. Would opening up lead to greater intimacy or potential heartache? This uncertainty loomed large as he attempted to navigate fragile emotions while balancing demanding professional commitment. The media frenzy surrounding Justine's heartfelt call added another layer of complexity for Elon as well. It became difficult for him not to feel overwhelmed by external expectations when trying to forge a path toward reconciliation with her. Daily headlines speculated on their relationship status and offered unsolicited advice on how they should proceed, a cacophony drowning out any private reflections or heartfelt conversations they might have hoped to share without public interference. Yet amid these pressures lay an undeniable truth. Vulnerability emerged not just as a potential weakness, but also as a pathway toward resilience, not only within their relationship but throughout all aspects of his life. Each moment spent acknowledging struggles led Elon closer toward understanding not only himself but also those around him, navigating similar battles hidden beneath polished exterior. As weeks passed since that pivotal phone call, Elon began embracing opportunities for genuine connection wherever possible, whether through collaborative brainstorming sessions at work or heart-to-heart conversations over dinner with Justine as co-parents discussing their children's futures together. There remained challenges ahead. The question loomed whether reconciling past grievances would ultimately lead them back into each other's arms or foster something new entirely. But for now, each step forward felt significant. Ultimately, what unfolded during this transformative period underscored profound lessons regarding love amidst adversity. Success can be hollow without emotional depth. True connections require effort beyond accolades earned through accomplishments alone, requiring vulnerability and strength, woven together seamlessly across both personal journeys, intertwined so intricately throughout life's unpredictable course. The late-night call between Justine and Elon Musk has become emblematic of a larger conversation surrounding emotional vulnerability, especially among high-profile individuals. In an age where public personas are meticulously curated, the stigma associated with revealing one's inner struggles can be overwhelming. For celebrities like Elon, who occupy prominent positions in society, the pressure to maintain an image of unwavering strength can complicate authentic self-expression. Although admired for his innovation and success, Elon Musk is not exempt from the emotional challenges that plague many people, especially during personal crises. The world perceives him as a titan, a man who shapes industries and technologies, but beneath that facade lies a deeply human experience filled with fear, doubt, and vulnerability. As he reflected on his late-night conversation with Justine, Elon confronted the reality that even those atop the social ladder carry emotional baggage shaped by life experiences. For many high-profile individuals, anxiety regarding authenticity stems from fear of judgment. How could they reveal personal struggles without risking their reputation? Media scrutiny amplifies these anxieties. Each slip, misstep, or moment of weakness becomes fodder for sensationalist headlines, constructed narratives that don't account for the complexities of individual lives. This perpetuates a cycle of silence where genuine emotions are stifled due to the apprehension of public reaction. Elon experienced this firsthand as reactions to his personal life flooded media outlets following the late-night call. Headlines speculated on his intentions and feelings toward Justine, framing every detail in a context that diminished the authenticity of their emotional exchange. Were they merely two actors on a stage set for public consumption, or could they find solace in vulnerability amidst the bright lights of fame? This dilemma is not unique to Musk. It resonates across the spectrum of celebrity culture. High-profile figures often grapple with their identities, how to consolidate their public persona with their private reality while navigating relationships that require emotional intimacy. This internal conflict can lead to feelings of isolation, as fears about vulnerability overshadow opportunities for connection and understanding. In moments when vulnerability manifests openly, like during the poignant phone call between Elon and Justine, they create opportunities for deeper connections and discussions about mental health. This phone call echoed a broader societal trend where conversations began to shift away from superficiality towards genuine human experiences. By sharing their vulnerabilities, both were able to humanize their circumstances, allowing public audiences glimpses into their journeys beyond mere headlines. Elon's journey toward embracing vulnerability also offered him insights into how he could influence change within high-pressure environments like Tesla and SpaceX. By allowing moments of honesty to occur within professional arenas, sharing his own uncertainties alongside triumphs, he could foster a culture where others felt empowered to break down their walls too. Encouraging openness around emotional health would not only benefit their well-being but could also enhance creativity and collaboration within the team. While strides toward emotional honesty were being made, challenges still loomed large. Returning to old patterns proved difficult. Systemic forces within corporate cultures frequently discouraged displays of emotion, often favoring stoicism over sentiment. Even as Elon began reflecting on personal connections and family dynamics more deeply, the shadows of past behaviors lingered, reminders of a time when he rejected vulnerability in favor of relentless ambition. Justine's experience following the call highlighted the ongoing struggle that many encounter when facing judgment and expectations imposed by society. As speculation swirled around her motivations and choices, questions arose. Was she strong for reaching out or weak for showing her emotions? The complexity of such sentiments underscores the stigma attached to emotional vulnerability, especially among women in public life. Ultimately, their late-night exchange illuminated essential truths about navigating love amid adversity. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but rather a hallmark of strength that opens pathways for healing. Those willing to engage in authentic dialogues inspire others to do the same, paving ways forward in areas previously shrouded in misunderstanding. As Elon Musk continued to navigate his multifaceted life, both personally and professionally, the lessons learned through shared vulnerabilities would shape his approach toward future relationships and emotional well-being. Recognizing the inherent power found in honesty and humanity forged connections that reached beyond mere status or public perception. In a world obsessed with celebrity culture and image, these reflections serve as vital reminders that beneath every headline lies a story steeped in complexity, one that mirrors the very essence of what it means to be human. Acknowledging emotional struggles does not diminish success. Rather, it enhances one's capacity for connection and compassion, changing not just how individuals perceive themselves, but how society honors shared humanity in its myriad forms. The late-night call between Justine and Elon Musk serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities surrounding emotional vulnerability, particularly for those living under the relentless glare of the public eye. Their conversation, marked by raw honesty and a desire for reconnection, has opened up broader discussions about mental health and the challenges faced by high-profile individuals trying to navigate personal crises in an age of constant media scrutiny. One of the most significant takeaways from this incident is the recognition that vulnerability should not be viewed as a weakness, but rather a valuable aspect of human experience that fosters deeper connections. Justine's heartfelt outreach to Elon demonstrates how essential it is for individuals, regardless of their social standing, to seek support during turbulent times. It implores society to view emotional honesty as a strength, one that can break down barriers and foster understanding between people who may feel isolated despite their fame. Additionally, this call underscores the importance of addressing the stigma often associated with emotional struggles in the context of celebrity culture. High-profile figures like Elon Musk often cultivate carefully crafted images of invulnerability, leading many to believe they are immune to the emotional challenges that come with relationships and personal loss. This misperception can create a cycle of silence around genuine feelings, perpetuating the notion that successful individuals must maintain a facade of constant strength. By embracing vulnerability and sharing their experiences, celebrities have the power to reshape these narratives, encouraging others who may be suffering in silence to seek help. Moreover, Justine and Elon's experience highlights the intricate interplay between personal relationships and public perception. As their private struggles become fodder for sensationalist media coverage, it raises important questions about how celebrities balance their need for genuine emotional connections with the scrutiny that often accompanies their lives. This incident illustrates the delicate equilibrium they must navigate, a balancing act between maintaining their public personas while also addressing the realities of their private emotion. As Elon reflects on his journey toward vulnerability, he gains insights that may ultimately influence his approach to future personal relationships. The lessons learned through this call could lead him to more meaningful interactions with Justine, as well as with friends, family, and colleagues. Recognizing vulnerability as an opportunity for connection might inspire him to foster a more open environment at Tesla and SpaceX, where employees feel empowered to share their ideas and struggles without fear of judgment. Equally important is Justine's perspective following the call. As she navigates her own challenges, her willingness to reach out to Elon signals a desire for healing and understanding. The complexities of their past do not simply vanish with a single conversation. Instead, they become part of a broader journey toward reconciliation, or perhaps a new form of relationship altogether. Through shared vulnerability, Justine can reclaim her narrative beyond being Elon Musk's ex-wife, highlighting her individuality as a writer and mother who deserves acknowledgement for her own accomplishments. The media's intense scrutiny post-call adds another layer of complexity to their journey. Headlines have positioned both Justine and Elon under an unforgiving spotlight, often distorting their intimate exchanges into sensational tales that serve more for entertainment than genuine understanding. This public examination can lead to self-doubt and anxiety, making it crucial for them to find solace in their own perceptions rather than succumbing to external pressures. As they navigate these waters, there lies a broader implication for society at large: the necessity of fostering environments, be they professional or personal, where conversations about mental health and emotional struggles are normalized. Acknowledge that high-profile individuals are human too. They experience heartbreak, doubt, and longing just like anyone else. Encouraging open dialogue about these struggles can not only alleviate individual burdens, but also contribute to a cultural shift that values authenticity over facade. Ultimately, the incident encapsulates the enduring truth that love and relationships are complex, requiring ongoing effort and understanding to navigate successfully. Justine and Elon's journey serves as a powerful reminder that amid fame's allure lies a shared humanity marked by vulnerability and resilience. As they work through their feelings in the public eye, they have an opportunity to inspire others, reminding everyone that acknowledging emotional struggles can pave pathways toward healing and deeper connections amidst life's unpredictability. In this ever-evolving narrative of high-profile relationships mingling with societal expectations, Justine and Elon Musk's story offers essential insights into the value of emotional honesty. Their experiences challenge us all to reconsider our perceptions of success and strength, teaching us that true connection flourishes when we embrace our vulnerabilities as integral parts of being human. As they move forward together or apart, The lessons learned from this poignant exchange will undoubtedly resonate far beyond their personal lives, serving as an invitation for others to engage authentically in their journeys as well.